we're going to move on to announcements and presentations. And Council, what I'd like to do is kind of switch up, and I'd like to go to item C first, since we're going at 7:40, and so that we can go ahead and introduce a newly appointed, he's not as new at this point, but still newly appointed to the San Bruno Park School District Superintendent, Jose Espinosa, and receive an update on San Bruno Park School District activities. So I'd like to bring Jose into the room, City Clerk.
Yes, I'm trying to bring him in. Just one moment.
Thank you. And as you all know, he is with the San Bruno Park School District, K through 8, and obviously comes in at a difficult time. To run a school district at any level can be challenging, but at the same time, obviously during COVID times, has been, shall we say, kind of a different welcome to this role.
He's taking, there he is. Okay.
Mr. Espinosa, good evening and welcome, and thank you for being here with us and the San Bruno community. Appreciate you extending your workday into the evening, late hours, as you probably normally do, but thank you, welcome, and please, we are excited to hear from you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Medina, City Manager Grogan, and the San Bruno City Council, and thank you very much for inviting me here today to and giving me the opportunity to introduce myself to the San Bruno community. As Mayor Medina stated, I was appointed to the superintendentship of the San Bruno Park School District in July. And since then, you know, it has been such a different year for education that generally, you know, when you're first appointed as a superintendent, you know, you're doing a lot of really getting to know the community, especially when you're from outside the community, you're doing a lot of getting to know the community. And unfortunately for this year, that has been really difficult, you know, over Zoom. I always thought myself as pretty good with technology until I started trying to manage a Zoom meeting. And now I really feel like my mother when she used to try to work the remote when we were little. You know, it's just it's a stressful situation. So just a little bit about myself. I have been in education for about 24 years, something like that. And within that time, I've had the opportunity to be a teacher and an administrator at the elementary, the middle, and the high school levels. And I think having that opportunity has really prepared me to take on, you know, which was the next step of being a superintendent. And I'm very excited to be here. And again, unfortunately, it's just a very different year where a lot of the focus has shifted from really getting to know the community and getting to understand, you know, what the community values, you know, what they want to see in a school district, to really just trying to manage the conflicting needs of our community. We have our big focus this year has been trying to manage the ever-changing pandemic that we are faced with. And as a matter of fact, our board last week approved a plan, a return to in-person learning plan, which is highlighted by a timeline. So basically, you know, we established a timeline for a return to in-person learning, given that the conditions allow for that return. And, you know, more or less, the timeline, you know, I want to make sure I communicate clearly that this timeline, although we have established specific dates, for example, our first cohort of students, we are thinking of bringing them back January 14th. But again, that really depends on what happens in the next couple of months with COVID and if it starts to taper off, then we will probably be able to move forward with that timeline. Unfortunately, if it starts to if the cases start to increase like we're seeing now, and like they are predicted to, then that timeline is going to shift a little bit. The other thing that is included in the plan is that we're moving from a purely distance learning option. So right now, all San Bruno students only have a distance learning option. We're moving from that option to offering a hybrid option and a distance learning option. So parents will have the opportunity to choose whether they want their children to come back to in-person teaching and learning, which again is going to be under a hybrid model, which we don't have all the details of that fully worked out. Those details are really dependent on how many students we have in each. So as parents our principals should have sent some information home today, really asking parents to, pretty much commit to either bringing their children back to in-person teaching and learning or to staying in distance learning. And based on those numbers, then we'll refine the details of what the hybrid model is going to look like. From there, we hope to bring our students back, as best as we can. Early in August, our board approved a responsive model, which was really based on the idea that anything that we do moving forward is really going to be based on just having our priority be the health and safety of our students, our teachers, and staff, and our whole community. Because as you all know, if there's an outbreak anywhere, that can easily carry on to the greater community. So we want to really make sure that whatever we do going forward, that it is based on that value, that the health and safety of our community is our number one priority. Okay, so that is what we have going on in the San Bruno Park School District, and so I'm available for any questions that the City Council might have.
Thank you, Mr. Espinoza, for being here, and welcome. Though I know you and I met in early July and appreciated that opportunity to talk with you, and spoke on the phone before, and so appreciate the open dialogue, and again, welcome to you and to your family, to the San Bruno community. Any questions from colleagues?
To the mayor.
Councilmember Mason.
Great. So not a question. I just wanted to also welcome Superintendent Espinoza. As a parent, I just want to say what an improved communication we have had since you've joined the district. The multilingual and the communication from your personal, social media pages, from what you're sending via email. It is just incredibly appreciated, especially during these times when from day to day the rules are changing. So I look forward to continuing to work with you, and I'm excited that you two are taking on the United Against Hate campaign in San Bruno. So it's another opportunity to collaborate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? If not, then, sir, thank you, Jose, for being here. Thank you, Mr. Espinoza, Superintendent, for being with us this evening, updating us, and we look forward to a long-term relationship. And I know that you and the city manager meet on a routine basis and have been, and so I appreciate that. So we keep the lines of communication open. Appreciate it very much. Please enjoy your evening, and our best wishes to you and your family on Thanksgiving, and best wishes, and stay healthy.
Thank you, Mayor Medina, and I will leave us. I'd like to leave us with this thought. Often, over and over and over, very strong communities always have very strong schools. And my goal is to really work with our schools and with the community to ensure that a A strong San Bruno means a strong San Bruno Park School District. Thank you very much, and you guys have a good night.
Thank you again. All right. Thank you, folks, for allowing me to move that, but I wanted to be respectful and allow Mr. Espinoza to speak and then move back. We're going to move back to item 4A, and that is going to be to receive a proclamation declaring November 30th, 2020 to December 6th, 2020 as United Against Hate Week. San Bruno stands against hate and is committed to making everyone feel safe and supported against acts of racism, intolerance, and hate. There's a lot of whereases, and I won't read all the whereases, but I'll go toward the bottom of the document, say one or two things, and then hand it over to the Vice Mayor for a quick statement. Whereas the number of hate crimes across the United States has increased dramatically over the past couple of years, and whereas the City of San Bruno City Council stands strongly in support of our diverse community, honoring and protecting every individual, regardless of race, creed, color, gender, religion, ethnic, nationality, orientation, or identity. And whereas educating, compassion, and cooperation are key to unlock understanding and embracing differences between people, and now, therefore, I, Rico E. Medina, Mayor of the City of San Bruno, do hereby proclaim the week of November 30th to December the 6th, 2020 as United Against Hate Week, and recognizing this important step in bridging divisions to heal and strengthen communities. I also just wanted for council's knowledge that on November the 17th, the San Mateo County Boards of Supervisors with Pine and Canapa co-sponsored a resolution proclamation, as well as they did last year. Last year I wasn't able to attend. I was in federal court before Judge Alsep in regards to fire mitigation. But what happened was Daly City, Millbrae, and San Bruno co-sponsored to bring that forward to the Board of Supervisors, and we began that last year through the North County effort of the mayor's meeting with actually City Manager Grogan, who brought forward this element from Berkeley. Therefore, the City of San Mateo was introduced thanks to the City of San Bruno taking that initiative, and it continues on at the Board of Supervisors without anyone having to ask for it. It will be annually acknowledged. So I want to commend staff and San Bruno for initiating that in this county. Obviously, a little different with COVID times, but to our Vice Mayor Salazar and Councilmember Mason, who are on the Heart Committee that we've appointed, or I've appointed, and Vice Mayor Salazar.
Thank you, Mayor. So just really quickly, I just wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the work that the Heart Committee's been doing. So as some people know, the Heart Committee was formed to address some of the inequity questions that had come up. We wanted to really examine what's happening in San Bruno, and the committee took on this first task of coordinating the city's involvement in the United Against Hate campaign. And so Councilmember Mason and I have been meeting with an amazing group of volunteers and working on some of the efforts that will be being made public next week. So I won't give everything away, but we've got some really good stuff coming from the committee, and actually Superintendent Espinoza is one of those volunteers, and so he's been working with us as well and getting the school community involved in our efforts. So I don't know if Councilmember Mason wants to add anything, but I just wanted to acknowledge the efforts of the committee in supporting this effort.
Thank you to both of you for Councilmember Mason, Vice Mayor Salazar, for as I asked for you to take leads, and I appreciate you doing that, and the members that were brought in from various folks who came forward that I was able to talk to or meet in person, and I think it is a tremendous, great, diverse group of individuals that really bring a lot to the table and to the dialogue. So thank you to all. We're going to move on to item B, receive update on COVID-19 response efforts. City Manager.
Good evening. I will bring up the PowerPoint now. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, Javon Rogan, the City Manager, and I will provide the Council and the community with a brief update on the city's response efforts to COVID-19 and current status. So, countywide statistics, we will go over the number of positive cases. We will review the county dashboard stats. We will also talk about the blueprint for a safer economy and where San Bruno and San Mateo County currently falls on the state's roadmap. Then we'll review some of the holiday and travel guidance. We'll talk about food options for those in need, information on testing, small business grant opportunities, and then, as always, a reminder to stay connected and be available for questions from the City Council. So let's begin countywide with the number of confirmed cases. As we know, the numbers shift depending on the websites and when the stats were last generated. But what we know from this portrait is the current published number of cases in San Bruno is 639. That is an increase of 88 cases from the last time we reported this number to you 2 weeks ago at your November 10th City Council meeting. With regard to countywide stats, the best portrait, as we continue to inform everybody, is the County Health Department's website. That website is listed at the bottom of the screen, and they have a COVID-19 data dashboard that provides significant data on number of cases by age, by race, by the time cycle that we have been experiencing COVID-19, as well as by gender, male and female. Top line summary, this data was updated as of Monday, as we see, November 23rd, so just yesterday. There are a total of 13,561 positive cases in the county. That is up by 1,512 cases since we last reported this stat to you 2 weeks ago at your council meeting. And the death total is up by 5, currently at 870. With regard to the blueprint for a safer economy statewide, as we all know, Governor Gavin Newsom announced this blueprint several months ago, and in a color-coded system, going from the highest tier of widespread to substantial, moderate, and minimal. We, as of last week, moved from orange back to red, and so we are currently in the substantial tier. There are conversations and, of course, the potentiality that our numbers can continue to increase and we will be in the widespread category. As of the data update today, we remain in the substantial category, and there are specific criteria for businesses under each color-coded category. There are so many categories that we don't list them every week, but we really remind the community and in particular businesses to go to covid19.ca.gov. If you run a business, your business category is likely listed, and you can also find out additional information by calling 211. So a little bit more on where we sit here in San Mateo County. And so in order to be in the red tier, I'll go back. For the number of daily cases per 1,000, we need to be between 4 and 7. We are currently at an adjusted rate of 5.8. In order to be in the red tier, positive cases need to be between 5 and 8%. We're below that, and if we were just looking at this statistic, we would be in the orange tier. But with regard to our daily cases per 100,000, we're at 5.8. And then the last portion of the slide shows you the trajectory leading back 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 1 week prior, and where we are today. And so we remain in the substantial tier. What the governor has said is that they will do a data assessment every day now, given the elevated number of cases occurring statewide. There were data updates every week. And so for the community, if the numbers trend toward the purple tier, what we expect is that the governor will announce that we would enter the purple tier with additional restrictions, pretty much eliminating most in-person activities outside of essential businesses. So the state has a limited stay-at-home order. Important note, this is not the curfew that has been announced and widely publicized on the news. The COVID-19 curfew only applies to counties that are in the purple tier. We are not in the purple tier. And so this limited stay-at-home order does not currently apply to us. If in fact we do go into the purple tier, it will apply, and the things change often, but there's typically, it is either effective immediately or effective 24 hours from when it is announced, and we will certainly publicize that. But if this happens, all non-essential activities are to stop from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Again, only counties in the purple tier. And currently this limited order for purple tier counties is in effect through December 21st. And the governor has stated that they will do an assessment as we approach December 21st based on the level of positivity occurring around the state, and it may be extended at a 1-month increment. So let's talk about holiday travel. As we all know, the holidays are approaching us, and this will be a Thanksgiving for all of us like none other. And so we want to remind everyone to gather, really, if you can, gather only with those in your immediate household. The numbers of positive COVID-19 cases are definitely increasing, not just statewide, but also here within our county. And we want everyone to be safe, and we want to limit the spread. And so the recommendations are keep gatherings to your immediate household, limit them to 2 hours. And one thing that is not on this slide, but that's worth pointing out, is that there are a number of platforms that have actually taken off the time limits on their free accounts. Zoom being one, which has taken off their 1 to 2 hour cap for a free account. And so if you want to Zoom with family members from across the state or across the country, you can do that without that typical cap limit. So know that there are ways out there for you to still be in touch with loved ones, but also be safe. With regard to holiday travel, this has been widely publicized as well. So all non-essential holiday travel is not recommended. There's guidance from the California Department of Health as well as our own San Mateo County Health Department. What the recommendation is that if you travel and leave outside of the Bay Area, it is recommended that you self-quarantine for 14 days upon your return if you engage in higher-risk activities. And those higher-risk activities are one, being in close proximity with others within 6 feet when you're not wearing your mask, or two, traveling on virtually any conveyance, a plane, train, or automobile, in which all of the occupants of that vehicle are not wearing their mask for the entire time. And so if we extrapolate what that means, it's probably virtually certain that if you're on a plane, someone is going to pull down their mask to have a drink of water or a snack. What our county guidance says is that if that occurs, it is recommended that you self-quarantine for 14 days upon return. We know that will have a significant impact on those of you that are essential workers, like all of our city employees, as well as those of you that are currently leaving your house. But it is recommended for not just your safety, but the greater community. So please do abide by the holiday travel restrictions. Food options. So there are a number of food options available in San Mateo County. Second Harvest Food Bank, as we all know, there is a very nice feature on the county's website. So it's the standard county website, smcgov.org/food, where you can do a zip code search to find locations near you. There is, of course, the CalFresh program, as well as several restaurants are doing prepared meals. So please reach out to your favorite restaurant and see if they are offering prepared meals and support the local economy. Again, a reminder of COVID-19 testing. There is significant testing now available throughout the community. And so we have instituted a local testing site at 530 Huntington Avenue. That is near the intersection of Sylvan and Huntington. It is available on Saturdays through the months of November and December from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I want to pause there for the community because we have shifted the hours back. The hours were 11 to 3. We have moved them back to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. so we can ensure that the tests get to the UPS store so they can arrive at the test site by Sunday and begin immediate processing. And so we wanted to make sure that there is no delays on our end in getting those results into the lab. And so we moved back the testing. We have not shortened the time. We have just moved it back 1 hour. So it will now begin at 10 a.m. and end at 2 p.m. on Saturdays through November and December. It is self-administered. It is a no-contact test site. We recommend that you pre-register, but pre-registration is not required. And typically, we have been averaging a 48-hour turnaround in those results. And so, supported by the county, implemented here locally, please take advantage of that local testing site, because it is put on by the city of San Bruno for your benefit, so our community is safe. There's also mobile testing throughout the community, throughout the county. Go to the county's website. It's down there. It's snc.gov.org/testing. Various sites throughout the community. There was a test site here both yesterday and today. And there will be more as the weeks go on. There is daily testing Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Actually, there's daily testing every day except Sunday. On Tuesday through Saturday for adults 18 plus, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for families, people 5 years or older, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Those results are typically in 48 hours, and it is recommended that you make an appointment. Small business grants, we've talked a lot about this. There are 2 grant programs that we would like to highlight. One is our very own BAYRAC, Bay Area Entrepreneurship Center, located right here in downtown San Bruno. They are offering grants to businesses of $3,000, and they have enough funds for 16 businesses. The period is open now. It closes on December 4th. And on the slide now are a number of detailed or targeted industries. So it's the same program, but they have developed material to target specific industries: preschool, child care providers, mechanic and auto shops, hairstylists, restaurants, wellness providers, but it is open to all small businesses. So please do apply. An important program put on here locally. Also, SMC Strong has a new program that we want to remind the community about. It is the Small Property Owner Assistance Program. This is designed specifically for small property owners that are impacted by loss of income due to COVID-19. There are a number of program requirements that I won't go over all of them, but know that they have been reduced. But it is important to highlight a couple things. One, the County Board of Supervisors have allocated $2 million for this program. The maximum grant is $6,000. Property owners must live within the county and have a property that they lease or rent out within the county. And an important note is there is no specific unit size of the building. And so it's based on your loss per unit. And so a property owner can apply for up to 10 units of rental income loss. And there's a calculation based on if your tenant paid, how much of the contract rent your tenant paid. And so if the rent was $3,000, but they only paid $1,000, potentially $2,000 of that would be eligible for reimbursement through this program. It is a very innovative program put on by the county, and we really do hope property owners in San Bruno apply. And apply fast because the period closes November 29th. Just a reminder to support our local businesses, put your money where your home is, and a small business day on Saturday, November 28th, shop locally. Stay connected. Lastly, a reminder of we would like the community, if you are signed up to any of our social media platforms but are not signed up to our SMC alert system, you are not in compliance with what we want you to do. We want you to first, before you are signed up to any city social media accounts, to be signed up to the system that will allow us to contact you when there's an emergency. And so sign up for SMC alert. It is how we will contact you to alert you of something that may potentially save your life or that of your loved ones. And then feel free to follow us on social media. And there are links to that on our website. You can access it through our normal city homepage or go to the dedicated coronavirus page. Any questions from the City Council? If not, that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, City Manager. Are there any questions from Council?
Through the chair.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Okay. So just, one sort of comment. I know we've been hearing about coronavirus for almost all year now, and there may be a little bit of COVID burnout going on. And I know that when the county started doing their presentations to us, to the electeds, and to managers, city managers, and to school districts, it was every day. We were all starving for information. We wanted to know as much as we could. So they turned on the fire hose, and we just started getting all of this information. And then eventually just kind of trickled down, and those daily calls went to twice weekly, and then every other week now. And so the information kind of started drying up, and a lot of times we're just getting we're hearing the same sort of details that we can see on the website. And I don't know if there's still a lot of overload going on, and I'd really like us to keep our message more on task. And I know you did give us a lot of those specific programs that are pertinent to San Bruno, and I think those are really key. I just want to caution us against making these presentations so overwhelming the way the county's presentations were initially, where the real message gets lost because there's just too much information to take in. And so I want to make sure that we really highlight the important things, and not provide so much information that the important things get lost in it. And then specifically, I wanted to ask about the data that's in that first section you presented, the county statistics that we get. They provide a lot of demographic data at the county level, and they also tell us how many cases were reported from our city. But I'm wondering if we're getting any more specific demographic data that's specific to San Bruno, and if not, is that something that we can request? And my thinking around this is, if we are seeing a spike, and I think that 80 cases within the past 2 weeks is probably significant based on our 600 number, that it would be good for us to understand where those cases are happening. And so if there's a specific age group, if there's a specific demographic, for example, we see that huge spike among Hispanics. So if it's the Spanish-speaking community that we should be targeting, and all our messages are going out in English or going out through channels that aren't typically used by the Spanish-speaking community, then we're kind of missing the mark. If it's younger people, they may not be looking at the traditional things. Maybe we need to try a different approach if that's where the spikes are. And so I think we understand things a little bit better now. We know what things need to happen, and if we can identify gaps within our community that we can focus on, I think we can be a little bit more successful in doing our part, and not just relying on the county and the state and everybody else to do theirs. And then I was also curious about what our turnout has been at our testing facility. Have we been fairly successful? I know the first couple of weekends we did pretty well, and this last one we were tied up with other council events, so I didn't have a chance to check in. So I'm just wondering how that's working so far.
Councilmember Salazar, a lot of good points. Your first point about making sure that we provide clear presentations and a message to the community that really resonates and is not that point well taken, and we will adjust accordingly. Absolutely, it seems that we've been at this for a while, and we have, and we're tired of COVID-19 sometimes, but COVID-19 isn't tired of us. So
yeah.
Remain vigilant. So with regard to city data, you may recall that initially statewide and our county health department were not releasing any city-specific data. I just confirmed again on their website that there is not detailed information that is being provided at the city level outside of total positive cases. And so we do not have that level of public health data at the city level, and we'll continue to have those conversations with the county about that. With regard to our local testing site, we are 3 weekends in. If memory serves me correctly, we had roughly 90 people tested at the first weekend, 45 the second weekend, and 175 last weekend. And so the numbers have fluctuated, but I think that as everyone hears the news about cases increasing, they're taking advantage of our local testing site, and we will continue to offer that throughout November and December, and as long as it's needed.
And just as a pitch for our local testing, it's not the nasal swab, so it's very painless. I did it myself. It took I think through the whole process in 5 minutes, and it was really easy. So if anyone's been hearing horror stories and they're reluctant to do it, this is a very painless way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none from council, we're going to go ahead and move on to item D under announcements and presentations. Receive annual report from the Citizens Crime Prevention Committee. My understanding is the chair will be giving the presentation with the assistance of Officer Rogie.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, city staff, and virtual viewers. I'm Robert Rico, the current chair of the San Bruno Citizens Crime Prevention Committee, and I'm here to give you our committee's report for the year 2020. And the next slide here, in a minute, will show our committee members. We kind of have a split time frame. Dina Robinson was chair. I am currently chair as of the middle of the month, or the middle of the year. Rhonda Boone is our vice chair. Peter Carey and member at large Mary Mahone started out the reporting period and resigned, and that's your last meeting. You appointed Chad Keeley to fill her position, and Linda Bascona is a member at large along with Richard Wong. Since it's kind of an overlapping time, we had Laura Davis previously, and now Michael Salazar is our committee liaison. We had Officer Sherry Campbell as the police department liaison, and we are now proud to have Officer Scott Rogie as our liaison. The next slide will talk a little bit about our activities. As you can see on there, we are continuing to assist to grow neighborhood watch groups. Currently, we have 33 neighborhood groups. We're trying to keep expanding that. However, our primary activity is to work at growing neighborhood watch programs. However, with COVID-19 requirements curtailing most physical gatherings, our committee has not been able to physically distribute our neighborhood watch information brochures at the events that we had been participating in over the prior years. We were able to do a video regarding a tax scam, which we featured on the CityNet and on YouTube. And each month we create 2 crime tips that we post on the city's crime prevention tip page, and I believe we also post them on CityNet. The next slide talks about some of the late 2019 activities. We did participate in the 2019 Day in the Park. We offered information about our neighborhood watch groups and talked to interested parties. We had a proclamation for National Night Out in August of 2019, and we held neighborhood gatherings at 11 different venues, which was very meaningful. We had the police department split up and stop at most of those venues. And as we've been doing the last couple of years, Assemblyman Mullen held a October 2019 health fair at Tanforan, and we participated in that. And the next couple of slides will just show a couple pictures of Police Recognition Day, Chief Barbareri down in the bottom one, National Night Out, and the health fair will be on the next one. Activities, and on the next slide we show activities and accomplishments. We shared informational slide. We have a slideshow at safety fairs where we were able to meet. We maintained communications with neighborhood watch groups, and we distributed our crime prevention tips over a number of media. We updated postings of our meeting agenda and minutes on the San Bruno Police Department's crime prevention webpage. We prepared a National Night Out flyer to be distributed to block captains and also to be distributed to the general public. In the year 2000, 2020, we did not do the actual event, but we prepared as if we were going to. We did do it in 2019. We obtained pencils and stickers to give out when we had information tables, and we also obtained some child DNA kits for distribution at our table events. Postponed events in 2020 where we lost a lot of ability to meet one-on-one, talk one-on-one with interested people about our neighborhood watch and other events. The Coffee with Cops program was postponed, except we were able to do one at Molly Stone's in October of 19. As I mentioned earlier, the Police Recognition Day was postponed. The Community Day in the Park was postponed. The actual National Night Out was postponed, and Cops for the Special Olympics was postponed. All of these would have offered our committee the ability to meet one-on-one, which we can't right now. The goals for 2020, we want to continue to make an effort to work with other communities, such as the Community Preparedness Committee, to share information for the benefit of our community. Our committee also wants to continue to work with the police department to use social media for public service announcements, as well as with San Bruno CityNet to provide video warnings for possible scams. I want to thank you, San Bruno City Council, City Liaison Davis and Salazar, Police Department Chief Ed Barberini and current Chief Ryan Johansson, both Officer Sherry Campbell and Officer Rogie. And I want to conclude with just reminding you that we meet the second Thursday every month at 7 p.m. Where possible, we'll be meeting in City Hall Room 113, but right now we are meeting by Zoom, and the Zoom connection information is included on our monthly agenda, which is posted in City Hall, and anyone requesting that kind of information to be emailed by the city can receive that also. Meetings are open to the public, and I would like to thank the city for the time to update the city on our committee's continuing volunteering in the city, and ask if there's any questions that I or Officer Rogie might be able to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your report and presentation. And also thank you, Officer Rogie, for being here this evening as well. Are there any questions from my colleagues?
Through the chair, or through the mayor?
Vice Mayor Mason.
Vice Mayor?
I'm sorry, I just elevated you quickly. Sorry, Mr. Salazar. Vice Mayor, I did it again. Councilmember Mason.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. I'll take it.
Well, he had his hand up. That's what threw me.
No, you can always count on Mr. Reichel to make those corrections. I have a question, Mr. Reichel. When there is an uptick in violence, I believe Millbrae is seeing one. They just had a bank robbed and they had a mugging recently. Is there collaboration, for example, with the senior center or any kind of communication that's within the community through the committee, when we can get the word out quickly that there's a certain pattern that we're seeing?
The answer is yes. We've had this discussion with both of the chief of police, and they give us guidance. Sometimes they prefer that we do not elaborate on the extent or the location of specific because that can be more detrimental. We do sometimes adjust our crime tips due to happenings in the city, and we post on the Sacramento Police Department crime prevention website updated information where possible, and the city police department uses their connections on the social media to get that information out. But we take our direction from them. They are the authority under which we work. There's been a time or two where our committee says, well, we've got to get out and talk about X, Y, Z, and the police department says we have our reasons for doing it our way, and we will try and work with you to find a way to get that kind of information out.
Okay.
Now, Vice Mayor Salazar.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Mr. Reichel and the committee for the presentation, and also just kind of call out, Mr. Reikel's been on this committee. I was on the committee 12 years ago, and he was the chair back then. He has been providing just amazing leadership and participation on that committee for over a decade. And so I just wanted to recognize that and thank him for his dedication over the years and always doing a great job and a very professional job in participating in that committee. So thank you.
If I can comment, it's the council support at times that allows the committee to look like we are being so effective. So we appreciate your thanks, and we will continue to work as hard as we can.
We had a little bit of audio difficulty, but I think what the chair is saying was thank you and also giving credit back to the council. So as Robert does that, so please, on behalf of the city council, to you as chair and as the vice mayor stated, your years of service and dedication to the community and to the committee, and as well as to all of the members of the committee, please pass on our thanks and appreciation.
I will do that.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to